Welcome back to another edition of the JJ Corner. Now, we got a very special episode for you today. I know typically I have other people here for my guests, but today I'm not. I'm going to be interviewing myself because, I took some inspiration from Back to the Future. I made myself a flux capacitor. I hopped in it wasn't a DeLorean, I put it in a Nissan Altima. But I hopped in my car and I went back to the future, and I got myself from the year 2040. So that's going to be my guest today. So everybody, please welcome Joshua Julian. Hey, thank you very much for having me. I very much appreciate it. Well, hey man, it's great to have you on. You're wearing the same shirt. Is there a reason? Did we just keep the shirt for the forever? Yeah, the shirt. So obviously, we got it in this year, 2020, and I stopped growing around this time, so I just kind of held on to it because it's an heirloom of simpler times in college, and Trae Young became the greatest player in Hawks history, so I had to hold on to every single thing that represented him from this time because we got to grow up watching him. Obviously, it was a lot of fun. A lot of kids don't get to grow up with that, So I had to hold on to it and I had to wear it to represent because I knew I was coming back to this time. So, well, listen, it's great to have you on. Like I said, I bet it's not fun being back in the year 2020. Obviously it's been a bad year for everybody. So yeah, thanks for showing up. Yeah, coming back to 2020 wasn't exactly the thing I wanted to do with my afternoon today, but it's a pleasure being here. I even brought my mask just in case I had to step outside for a second and potentially confuse everybody because I'm clearly older. But like I said, pleasure being here. I would have done it regardless of what year it was. All right, so let's get this interview started then, shall we? We'll start off with some personal stuff. Are you currently in a relationship or married? I am. I know it doesn't seem like it now. I know, us being the same person, you understand. But you grow into your looks, don't worry, and you're gonna I met a beautiful woman when I was 23. We now have 2 kids, and they're the best thing in my life, other than obviously my job. A beautiful wife and kids. I'm very happy for you, and I'm obviously happy for me. So where do you currently live? You still in the Atlanta area? Yeah, I still live in Atlanta. I don't live downtown, obviously, because who would want to live downtown? I live, more out in the suburbs, around the Cobb County area. I couldn't leave this place. I love this place too much. All right, so you still in Atlanta. What's the job situation look like? What did you pursue as your career of choice? Job situation, yeah. I write for ESPN every now and then. Obviously, I'm not on their show. I more do stuff with like Fox Sports and whatnot. I mean, I do the ESPN stuff is more freelance, but Fox Sports obviously they don't have me on a contract because I'm not going to sign a contract. But I took Skip Bayless' spot on Undisputed. And actually, Cam, you remember him? He's with you on Undisputed. Y'all came up together. So that's where I'm at. I'm getting paid to do everything I wanted to do. A sports writer, huh? So I'm gonna move things past you. We're gonna look at more stuff in general. What's the future like? Like what kind of big changes have we had to society as a whole? Future. I gotta remember what it was like back here in 2020. We don't have flying cars yet. Elon Musk keeps promising it. It keeps getting pushed back, so color me skeptical. Everybody's got microchips in their brain though, so they kind of have their phones like in their brain, so they got like a hollow thing that pops up that only they can see. People still can't drive. Donald Trump still hasn't conceded the 2020 election. He went down in a blaze of glory claiming that he had information on what votes were faked, and then he died, so nobody knows where it is. It's just a lot more technology as opposed to current day. All right, so obviously since you're a sportscaster and you work for ESPN, I have to ask, obviously the sports interest stayed. Has an Atlanta team won a title yet? Yeah, the Braves won a title in about 2 or 3 years. Of course, the Falcons don't because, I don't have to explain that one to you. You know just as well as I do. And the Hawks went on a sustained run of success, but they never were able to get over the hump because, LeBron and Giannis are hard to compete with. And then after that, Trey kind of slowly played his years out. They kind of became the Indiana Pacers, you know what I mean? They were always like a fifth seed, but they never really won anything. And Atlanta United, they won a title, actually. They won a few more. Joseph came back healthy and better than ever. And they got back to their winning ways. So don't worry about this year. That's just a brief stop on the road to championship glory. Don't worry. So sticking with sports, but taking it out of our own bias, obviously. How are sports currently now? Like, what is it looking like for everything? All the big organizations doing well? Are there any big changes in the alignment of the league? What's going on with it? I mean, they're still making billions and billions of dollars. Players are still holding out for more money. The owners are still saying that they don't have the money to pay them, regardless of the fact that the NBA just brought in $15 billion in the last season. But hasn't changed since the 40s like that. Everybody's still watching. The MLB is falling farther and farther behind, but they're doing better than you would think. They haven't come close to going out of business yet. NFL is still combating concussions, which like we know is obvious. And like I said, the NBA is up to the most what's the word for it? The most profitable organization out there. As I said, $15 billion. So I mean, it's still healthy and growing. It's not like we're going to be out of a job anytime soon. So 20 years in the future, who is the current best player in the NBA? Is it somebody that I would know, or is it just some kid that's currently like 8 years old right now in 2020 currently? Best player? LeBron James, because about 10 years ago they legalized mechanical enhancements in a human body in the NBA that wasn't performance enhancing like drugs are. So LeBron got some, and now he is basically a Terminator. And combine that with the basketball IQ. So even at the age of, what is he now, 36? Even at the age of 56, he's still the best player in the NBA. Still can't smoke pot either for any of the leagues. No kidding. That's didn't realize that was a thing. Okay, we're not going to talk about that. I don't want to get too worked up. Moving on. Are there any new rules that have been kind of added on? Any like game-changing rules? NFL, MLB, NBA, like anything that has fundamentally altered the way that the game is played? The biggest one is in the NFL with the quarterback. Wears flags now. Instead of you being able to tackle him, you just have to pull his flag for the sack. It holds true when he runs too. So you see a lot of defenders trying to grasp at flags while they're stiff-armed by a guy that isn't allowed to be touched. Other than that, not really. I mean, the NBA, the MLB has kind of experimented with pace of play stuff. The pitch clock is still a thing. They still got the 3-batter minimum. They finally put the designated hitter in, the universal DH. They ratified that. So, and then the NBA, not really. There isn't really anything new there. I mean, still the same game. So, are there any new teams? Has the NFL, MLB, has any of them expanded into any other areas, or is it just the same 30 to 32 teams that we know in the current day? Well, in the NFL, they haven't really expanded because the owners don't want to pay anything, obviously. The MLB, they don't really have the bandwidth to do it. But the NBA, because as I said, they're making a crap ton more money, they've expanded into Seattle. They also expanded into Louisville. And then they've got a few other things in the works. I can't remember it's really shady. They're not really saying anything, but they've said that they want to add at least 2 more teams by 2050. So the NBA has moved to 32. None of the other leagues do because they don't have the money for it. So do you have any advice for either me or anybody watching at home that wants to become the analyst that you are? Do you have any advice? Any guiding words for the trail that we or my fellow students are on? That guy Cam that you hang out with, keep hanging out with him because he's gonna be the key to all of this. Like you don't understand. Like you two together are you're like a symbiotic relationship. You're like Rice and Montana is what you become like. So stick with that. Otherwise, just keep looking for opportunities. Keep looking for reasons to write. Keep looking for reasons to keep looking for ways to network, keep looking for connections. And Deandra. I'm a terrible person, my bad. Deandra, she becomes y'all's producer and like the person that runs everything behind the scenes. So keep that group together because y'all become the next big three. Let's keep it that way. Make sure. So overall, scale of 1 to 10, are you happy with the way that your life has turned out so far? Nah, I'm just playing. Yeah, no, I'm very happy. I get to do my dream job. Ain't no reason for me to complain. Well, hey, I want to thank you so much for coming back into the hellhole that is 2020 just to do this interview with me. It's much appreciated. I want to thank you for all the words of advice, all the knowledge. I'm hoping we don't open up any alternate timelines like in any of the other time travel movies. I'm sure we'll be okay, right? No, hey, listen, the pleasure's all mine, all right? I'm happy to be here to help you with your project. If you ever need me, I'm just a time jump away. I know the Avengers kind of probably scared all y'all about time jumping, so did Back to the Future, but it's not that complicated, don't worry. So yeah, hit my line if you ever need me. I'll take you back to your time very soon. To the viewers at home, thank you for tuning in again. Obviously, we're putting out bangers every week. I appreciate all of you that tune in, and this has been JJ signing off.